Greetings and welcome to another little snippet and overview of the Advanced Manufacturing Program in Greenville, South Carolina, associated with Clemson University Engineering, Computing, and Applied Sciences College. So the program as it is intended for those that are entering in their senior year for their undergraduate degree program to take classes that are focused on advanced manufacturing topics. These courses can be taken as graduate level courses while the student is an undergraduate if they have a 3.4 or 3.0 GPA or better. The courses will span projects and they will include topics that are relevant and recommended from our industry partners. For the fall of 2020, we're going to have Global Manufacturing Technical Elective, and we're going to have a Metrology Technical Elective. One of the major components that the students feel is the most critical element of the program is the industry network. And this includes weekly factory tours. So all of the classes are scheduled so that there are no conflicts or no scheduled classes on Wednesdays. This allows us the chance to take the day, go to a company, spend between 2 and 3 hours to the whole day at a company, learning about how they manufacture, what are some of the issues that they're encountering, what are the future insights that they might have. In this program, you do have the opportunity to start graduate school early, and this is known as the BSMS program. We are the only program that is on Clemson campus that has been approved for a experimental 3.0 GPA. We have to write an exemption to the department. Otherwise, a 3.4 requirement is required. We do have a dedicated lab, and this includes round-the-clock access for the students to use manufacturing equipment, injection molding machines, water jets, CNC lathe and mill, vacuum formers, and various other things. And finally, we have a professional environment. Students will have their own cubicles in the fall of 2020, so you don't have to worry about sharing space with others. We intend for the program to be an entry point into your professional life and professional career, so we set it up with that in mind. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about what the students from last year are going to be doing in the future, specifically in terms of the research. So these are the 6 students that are definitely continuing on for graduate school, and what they developed over the past year, or what they identified as their research topics. So Jasmine is going to be working on digital twins, specifically digital twins of humans, and she's working with Dr. Mears of automotive engineering. Meredith Sutton is interested in manufacturing change management processes, and she's going to continue that work with me. Shane Zhu has been doing undergraduate research with Professor Schwann, focused on lab on chip, and he intends to continue. Sully Carpenter was awarded a Thinker Fellow, so he has all tuition and all stipend covered, and he's going to be working with Professor Kurz of Industrial Engineering, focused on automated guided carts and material handling. Lucas Moran is also another Thinker Fellow, and he is going to be working on a project for GE focused on guidelines for structure support of metal additive manufacturing. And that is going to be co-advised with Dr. Pataki and myself. Rohan Jain is currently anticipating working on 2 different master's degrees, one in computational data analytics and the other one in mechanical engineering. So he's going to focus on a non-thesis, but he might sneak in a project with Dr. Pravini. So I'm just going to illustrate here a few of the paths or how we look at trying to develop the research mindset in the students from the very beginning. So in the fall, we're going to have activities such as factory tours. And those factory tours, we're going to visit OEMs, we'll visit suppliers and material processors and stuff like that. And from that, you get the chance to interact with engineers and learn what the frustrations are and what the problems and the challenges, and maybe identify a few of your own future directions. As an example, Solly Carpenter actually, from the very first visit with Club Car, decided that the material handling and the automation was disconnected. And he was asking the question, is this how companies should be handling the material processing? In addition to the factory tours, we also have professional networking that would include thinker seminars, our Center for Advanced Manufacturing workshops with industry partners where students will be included as workshop participants. Along the way, we also provide a lot of faculty mentoring, specifically sitting down one-on-one with faculty up at the One Research Drive ICAR campus, talking about your career path, trying to understand what your vision, what your calling, what your vocation is. And then using that, we try to help you find the right advisor for you. We also have opportunities to start exploring research through our graduate course term papers. In the fall, we're going to have metrology and global manufacturing, and in both of these, you'll be asked to push the limits and try to evaluate what the current best practices are and write papers. Those papers may become the seeds for your future research. So by the end of the first semester, we're hoping that you're going to be able to identify a research question or topic. Meredith Sutton is one that actually used some of the papers that she wrote for the for the Design for Manufacturing class that I taught in the fall, and some of the papers that she read on change management, and that really sparked an interest in her. And so she's using that as a catalyst for her current research. In the spring of 2020, you would anticipate hopefully partnering and working very closely with an identified advisor. And this is an advisor that could be up in Greenville or it could be down on main campus, but it's someone who you're going to develop a close working relationship with and someone that is going to work to develop you both in terms of research, but also in terms of being a professional engineer. Along the way, we might also do additional factory tours. Luca actually identified some of his research interests from the visits to the additive manufacturing works with GE, worked on an independent study in last spring, working on an internship now. And then also we have other opportunities such as capstone and the other electives. And this is where Jasmine McClellan actually identified some research topics that she was interested in, specifically looking at digital manufacturing. Here I would like to talk about a couple of the different paths that two students took and are taking now in terms of their research. And so let's take Luca. Luca identified in the spring that he wanted to work with GE in additive manufacturing. He became enthralled with the additive manufacturing works lab and was excited about finding something to do with them. And did a little independent study project to kind of start off on the research. And now this summer, he is working with them as an intern, focused on looking at creating and developing guidelines for how do you make support structures for metal additive manufacturing. In the fall, he'll start a fellowship, and a fellowship allows him to define his own research. It provides funding for both stipend and for tuition. And his fellowship is a NSF NRT Thinker program, so that's a program in advanced manufacturing. And he will start working on really writing up some of his work from the summer and identifying some experimental studies to carry out in the fall and early spring with the target of graduating with his master's in May, which will effectively serve as a launch pad for a PhD that he intends to continue with. Meredith, she identified change management in the fall from conversations, from discussions with factory tour engineers, and then also she did a term paper in the Design for Manufacturing class that looked at change management in automation or in manufacturing. And so she took an internship over the summer, and with her first project, they've asked her to change out a hydraulic system for the production line with a pneumatic mechanical system. And so essentially she is doing change management at the company, and she is collecting interviews, and she's identifying documents and process control. And so she's started her research in the summer as part of her internship. And she'll continue in the fall. In this case, she's going to actually be funded on a U.S. Army project, and she's going to be working on requirements modeling. And the main component that she's going to be bringing to bear is the ability on how to conduct interviews and do case study work to understand what the current processes are. And so this will require a couple visits to Detroit to learn a little bit more about their process. Again, she's also planning on graduating in May, but she is now considering continuing for a PhD. So, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact any of the faculty associated with this program. With the current state of uncertainty and how everything is going to be handled on campus, I can say with enthusiasm that the Advanced Manufacturing Initiative will continue in the fall, and we will benefit from having small class sizes. Those small class sizes will allow us the flexibility to be able to continue with as much in-person interaction as possible.